Content warning. This episode contains mentions of blood, dismemberment, alcohol and drug use, religious imagery, and crucifixion.
Welcome to Table It, a micro-RPG podcast. My name is Tim, and I'm one of the hosts and the editor of this production. Table It is an excuse to get my friends Max, Matt, and Manny to play micro-RPGs with me. We are all interested in game design as well as actual play, so each game will get a review at the end. Stick around and hear our opinions, as well as if we put the game back on the shelf, or if we would table it and play it again later. This week we are playing Hexingtide by Will Phillips. And as a special treat, we have Will Phillips here.
Hey!
Hey, everybody!
All right, so we're gonna start off with a player introduction and then do a character introduction. Why don't we start with Matt?
All right, so I'm Matt. I'm actually going to be running Hexingtide today for a game of minimalist, monstrous role-playing. I'm way too excited. My pronouns are he, him.
Okay, my name is Manny. I use they, them pronouns, and I will be playing Kevin O'Neill. Pronouns he, him, a changeling private eye.
Nice. My name is Max. My pronouns are they, them. I am going to be playing Rhett Winfield, a clairvoyant secretary.
And Rhett's pronouns are?
He, him. Thank you.
Well, this is Will. I'm also playing Super Pumped. My pronouns are he, him, and I will be playing Elisha Truman, an ancient golem who has migrated to the city and fallen in with this cast of characters and has he, him pronouns as well.
Golem? I don't even know him.
God damn it. And I'm Tim. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm going to be playing Gab. Their pronouns are he, they, and he is a fallen angel demon hype man.
I am so interested to see how this pans out.
That's a voice of confidence from the GM right there.
That confidence comes from playing way too many games with Tim over the years. Gotta be honest. So I'm really excited to be running Hexingtide today. Like I said before, it is minimalist, monstrous role-playing, and it's designed to be a much longer form game than we usually do. So today we're running a one-shot as compared to a single-page RPG. For folks who are interested in this, it's effectively a rules-light Chronicles of Darkness setup. It's very, very interesting, very story-driven. And we're playing today set in 1920s New York-esque full noir style. The scene opens. It's mid-morning, possibly close to noon. Dreary overcast skies. The camera pans out to focus on a brownstone on the side of the street, slowly zooming in on a single window. And as it goes through, there is a very long, scrawny man lounging on a chair with a paper novel in his hand, talking to a well-built, well-dressed, bald and eyebrowless character discussing literature. Gab and Elisha?
Well, you see, the detective novel is the perfect breakdown of humanity's struggles. You just can't get any finer point on it than that.
I mean, I appreciate your love affair with 20th century American popular literature, my friend, but I went to some expense to acquire this first edition of Victor Hugo's work here, and I'm just saying, I think you will find it quite delightful as Elisha pulls a still in a paper-wrapped and tied, carefully packaged book from his bag that he brought with him, and slides it across the table, and leans back in his chair, puts his fingertips together, arches, where his eyebrows would be, but being a completely hairless person, his heavy brow, and says, "I think you'll enjoy it if you just give it a chance." And he mumbles under his breath, "For once."
Gab takes their feet off the table, leans forward in this office chair that squeaks with the loudest of screech, and goes, "Well, I'll certainly give it a try. I can't say I got very far in the last one you gave me, but who's the hero in this one?"
At this point, there's a knock on the door.
A customer. Gab stands up, practically vaults over the desk, and runs to the door and opens it up.
You see a pretty ragged factory worker. I mean, it's newsy cap, just covered in soot, covered in dirt. Yeah, is this the PI's office?
Oh, yeah, you got a PI's office, but we're booked up. You're going to want to go down the hall. Here, let me introduce you. And Gab just walks past him, reaches down to put a hand on his shoulder, and then guides him around the corner to the adjacent PI office and knocks on the door.
Unfazed. Totally unfazed by this interaction because Elisha has seen it happen and play out repeatedly. He just sighs a little bit and reaches over across the desk to grab the latest, greatest pulp novel that Gab has been working through and just casually, calmly thumbs through it. He figures that Gab will be back any moment and back to their regular morning discussion of fine literature.
So, Gab, question for Gab.
Uh-huh.
Do you just open the door and usher them in? Do you knock on the door?
Ooh, I like the idea of not having a whole lot of idea of protocol. So I think Gab knocks on the door and opens it immediately. Just boom, boom, like you're supposed to knock, but this is urgent. This guy clearly has a job.
Great.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin is in his back office. He's there. You would notice a gray fedora on the table, long gray trench coat, and he has his feet propped up. He's got a cigarette in one hand and a glass of whiskey in the other, and the gray light is streaming in through the Venetian blinds over his face, and you hear a voiceover that says, "Another day in the city."
I do want to make a quick...
It's only a voiceover for him.
It's just totally fourth wall breaking, just internally.
He's narrating his.
The camera's doing a
He just says it out loud.
The camera's doing a slow pan outwards as this happens, and then back through the door to that office into the actual entryway where we see Gab, the factory worker, and Rhett at the actual front office.
Oh, hey, Rhett. Is Kevin in?
Good morning, Gab. Thank you for knocking and introducing yourself so gently. What can we do for you this morning?
Yeah, I've got I think it's a body, and I was told this was the place to find the folks who dealt with the weird stuff.
The weird stuff. You do tell. Listen, thanks for stopping by. What's your name?
My name's Bill.
Bill. And how old did you say Bill looked?
Bill looks to be late 20s, early 30s. Old enough to have a family, old enough to be providing. You can't really tell by his garb.
Sure.
He's definitely the type to punch in, punch out.
Sure.
Tin lunchbox.
Sure.
And this is what day of the week is this? It's just like a generic weekday?
Generic weekday.
Okay.
Great. Let's say it's a Tuesday. Thank you so much for stopping by, Bill. And Rhett stands, and you guys see a tall, thin, very pale, kind of undernourished looking sort of fellow. He has dark hair that's kind of gelled into a very smart curl on his head, and thin glasses, which he seems to constantly forever be adjusting and taking off and cleaning and adjusting and putting back. He's wearing a very smart sort of suit, but you can see it is well loved and worn and has been embroidered in some places. So Rhett stands and says, "Excuse me, we've got an awfully busy schedule today. Why don't you take a seat? Can I get you anything?" And goes over to a tea and drinks cart.
Yeah, just coffee if you have it.
Excellent. And Rhett starts, like, hardly even looking, reaching over, making the coffee, knows exactly where everything is, pulling out different things, getting it going, and in a flash is pressing the cup of coffee into Bill's waiting hands and says, "One moment, please. I'll be right with you." Walks into the back, shuts the door. "We got a client."
Hold on, I'm doing my monologue.
"You're not. We've got a client."
Fine.
"What's your schedule look like? Can you take a new one?"
Let me take a look. He pulls out his little day planner and looks and says, Well, I'll tell you, Rhett. Looks like I got more time than I have hot baths, so why don't you see him in?"
All right. And on my way out, I grab the day planner. I jot down for a week away, 3:00 haircut, hand it right back to you, take the whiskey, throw it in the trash, and then open the door. Right this way.
You find Gab standing at the door, quickly leading away as if he wasn't listening. And then Gab ushers, was it Bill?
Yep.
Ushers Bill in.
Thank you. I think.
Have a seat, young man.
Sure.
My name is Kevin O'Neill. What can I do you for?
A guy died in the alley behind my building.
That's
I think.
That's hardly cause for concern. People die every day in the city.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go to the police?
There's no blood.
No blood. He surreptitiously takes a pencil and writes "no blood" in his notebook. And then he puts out his cigarette, lights another one. How do you know he's dead? How do you know he's not just...
His head's off.
That is damning. That is damning. It's outside your place, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, just in the alley behind the building.
Interesting. Where's this building at?
6 blocks that way. And he gestures down the street.
And what do we know about that neighborhood?
It's a human neighborhood. There's being part of the otherworld community, as you all are. You know that some of the community members do intermingle around, but there's no specific living space that is one apartment building that if you're supernatural in one way or another, you live here. Mm-hmm. They're scattered about in the on the mundane side.
Okay. Majority human neighborhood. And do we know it as being relatively safe? Is this an area where, there would be a lot of random homicides and things of that nature? Yeah.
There's some random muggings. There's a couple of assaults. There's a couple of gang fights. Every so often, there's a mafia man who will come through and knock on doors.
Mm-hmm.
Every so often, there's a chase going down. It's not a random homicide neighborhood.
Okay.
It's pretty much your typical noir style grit, as it were.
All
Okay.
right. And what do you expect us to do about it, Mr. Bill? Can I call you Bill?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. So, what do you expect us to do about this dead body? I'm a detective agency, or I'm a private dick. You see, I don't do cleanup.
I was hoping you could figure out what happened to him.
It sounds like he got decapitated. Job done. That'll be $500. Now, why me? Why are you searching?
He's really
me out?
good.
Well, I went to the cops and they said they weren't going to touch it.
Hmm.
And they said
That
you've
tracks.
they said that the PIs in this building have handled the weird stuff before.
And I look over at Rhett and I was like, Rhett, do we currently qualify beheadings as weird stuff?
I take out from my inside of my suit pocket and flip open an extensive sheaf of papers, and I'm taking a look with my glasses. Yep, indeed. Yes, this would qualify.
All right. Seems I'm not going to get back to my very busy schedule today, and I knock back the last of my whiskey.
After pulling it out of the trash?
Yes, I have another bottle in the. I have another bottle in the desk. I take a slug out.
Rhett rolls his eyes.
I stub out my cigarette, and I was like, put my overcoat on off the coat rack and throw it on, and take my fedora off the desk and put it on, and walk out, and then stick my head back into the office and be like, well, come on.
Yep.
As I light another cigarette, strike a match.
Bill's
Let's get
walking.
going.
Bill's walking with.
Right.
So am I.
Rhett will follow.
Yep, of course.
Carefully following behind you, doing the actual work of like closing doors and locking things and turning
Yeah,
lights off.
I don't. I just like leave doors open.
Great.
On the way out, Gav is going to poke his head back into his office and say, Mr. Truman, there's Kevin's got a case. You want to come with?
Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Winfield.
Headless body.
Well,
No blood.
headless body. How macabre. It would be remiss of me not to accompany this plucky band of adventurers on their business today, wouldn't it? And he puts the dime store novel down, arranges it very carefully and particularly on the desk, stands up, smooths out his silk smoking jacket that he arrived in, takes his fez, puts it on his completely bald pate, and walks out in the hall to meet the group.
He's wearing a fez. I love it.
He's totally wearing a fez, yeah. And nods to the customer. Says, I'm sorry to hear of your troubles, but I assure you are in certainly capable hands. Mr. Truman, and he extends his hand to Bill.
Yeah, Bill Tyler.
Mr. Tyler, sorry for your troubles today. Sure you don't mind me accompanying the professionals on this? I might have some value to add, I believe.
Well. It looks like we got a real rat pack here.
Bill shakes his head no and just starts wandering down the way, showing you guys where to go.
Great.
Yep, we follow Bill.
Definitely.
Is this a walk around the corner distance? Is this a hop a cab, trolley, drivable distance?
It's a walkable distance. It's about a 5.5, 6 blocks.
Okay.
And
So as we step outside the brownstone, Mr. Spielhofer, the butler, is probably still waiting for Elisha to return, and so he just waves him off and says, gives him the whole "we'll be back." So just keep the car available as he catches up with the rest of the party.
As you wish, sir.
You're Mr.
Kevin.
Spielhofer.
Kevin doffs his fedora at Mr. Spielhofer as they pass.
You get about a block away from the building, and Bill points it out. Says it's that alley on the left hand side. You go around. You go right down through, and then just around to the back, and that's where I found it this morning. But my shift's about to start. I gotta go, and he starts running.
God damn it, we're not going to get paid for this one either. Ah, damn me and my humanitarian.
Hey, Bill, where do you work?
He's already gone.
Well, that's too bad. I was really hoping to maybe catch up with him later.
Oh, we can find him. Anyway.
If I had a dime for every human that went screaming off in the other direction over my ears, I'd have many dimes. Well, let's have at it, professionals.
I'll walk up to the body and take a look-see. Yep, looks like his head's off. That's probably what did him in.
I like that.
So
I like that your guy has converted to be this incredibly dramatic noir private eye detective, but is also apparently a dumbass.
I think I'll kneel down, and it said that Bill said there was no.
We solved your adventure, Matt. So that was a great game.
Good game, guys.
Thanks for playing.
So he said there was no blood, so I'll go down and is there no blood?
There's no blood.
Is the head there?
No.
Okay,
The
now
head is
that
not there.
That qualifies as weird stuff.
now that's a little bit weirder.
As you get closer and you start looking through it, you realize where the neck should be. It's actually a really ragged decapitation, as it were. And there are scratches, slices, and punctures over all of the exposed skin you can see.
Okay. And none of them are bleeding. I think I want to.
A couple of them have blood stains.
Okay. Okay, so I think I want to. Okay, so blood stains.
So blood stains, but no blood pouring out of the wounds on the corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Is there blood on the ground at all?
Nope.
Okay. Looks like this poor sucker's been sucked dry. I was going to do something, but I completely forgot. Is the body cold? Doing math.
Yes, I am doing the math.
Hey, Kevin, do you think it was some kind of sloppy vampire?
If I had a dime every time I met a sloppy vampire, I'd have 20 cents, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
The body is cold.
All right.
But when you pick it up and move it, you realize that there is a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. This body was left here a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And normally this is where I would ask for some sort of investigation check. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the fact that you're here, Rhett, and you're really the brains behind the fedora.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I am going to ask you to make a roll for that, using that power.
Ooh.
Well, I guess my question would be, is it so much an investigation of the body in the sense that I'm joining Kevin to, observe? Or should I wander into the alley and see if the body's spirit is here?
That one.
That
Let's do
would be
that one.
Ooh.
That's your choice.
Yeah, I think
Because
I was going to
I'd
kind of
leave
like
you to
nod.
the body.
Yeah, I'm like examining the body, and I kind of nod to you.
Great.
If
head
you
out.
can potentially investigate the cause of a murder, only to find out that someone just... You could talk to them and say, hey, who killed you? That'd be so easy. It'd be great.
Yeah, but I think it's not gonna. I don't
Yeah.
think it works like that. So I was going to leave you to your investigation of the body. You are a private eye after all.
I have an actual investigation thing that I
that,
want to
that you
do.
can do.
But yeah, let's see what
Yeah.
you do.
So I think Rhett, pocketing the daybook and schedule planner, nervously adjusts his glasses on his nose and steps further into the alley, and just is doing that thing when you are about to head into a dark basement or perhaps pull back the shower curtain in a home you don't know well.
Uh-huh.
And that like I'm going in. So I'm gonna just go in and see what I see.
Alrighty. See what you see.
Yeah, so how do I do okay. So this is gonna be a power check. So I think I'm gonna do
I think the
Apparel?
uncertain outcome is interesting enough to ask for the power check here.
yeah,
So what it is you roll the peril die
Yep.
for the relevant peril,
right.
add the power score to it, and you can optionally add points to your portent
Right.
to boost it by that amount.
Right. Okay. So I think that this would be the fear of it. I think would be danger, or because potentially terror.
It could be, but this is more of you're trying to be intellectual about it.
True. True.
So danger is more for actions of risk, aggression, or stealth.
Right.
This, honestly, I think is an isolation roll.
Sure.
Actions
Sure.
involving academic or esoteric knowledge, observation, and social interaction.
That makes sense. Yes.
Yep.
And that's the part that scares me.
Yep.
Is that okay? So that's a big one. I need a D10. Can I borrow your dice?
Mhm.
Great. So I'll need a D10 for that, and then a power, which is 3.
Mm-hmm. So it's your D10 plus 3.
Yep. And do I roll anything else? Optional portent points.
You can choose to add points to one of your portents to make it closer to going off in order to give that much of a plus to the roll.
I don't think I'm going to do that yet.
All right,
I
cool.
think it's early days, early moments.
So
okay.
it's D10 plus 3.
All right,
Oh, nice.
I rolled a 10.
So you got a
So
13.
plus 3, 13.
And you needed a 6 or better.
Yeah, so got it with room to spare.
Congratulations. What was the name of the power, by the way?
The power here is, I guess I gave it kind of a stupid name, psychic ability. But I should come up with something fun.
So evocative.
Yeah. I will call it Seeing Beyond.
I like it. Ooh, yeah,
That's
definitely. So you go walking through the alley, and you see two figures standing in the corner, smoking cigarettes. You see another figure kind of floating through the air, and just like someone who's recognized. You realize this. The one who's floating through the air, this is someone who's recognizing they're dead and seeing what they can do to fuck with it. And then you watch some very interesting flickers that seem to be scurrying back and forth into and out of your vision. And as you focus in on it, you watch as two of these humanoid shapes that are moving on all fours start to come into a clearer focus, dragging. They're acting as if they're dragging something. And And you realize this
That's
is
not
something
good.
you don't see often, but you're watching a quite literally spiritual echo of what was happening. And as they move like they're dragging it, and they go around the corner to where the body is.
2 humanoid figures, but on all 4s, dragging a body. And do they see me?
Nope.
They
The
don't.
echoes are just echoes. Something that
Oh.
that happened
Okay.
in a manner that is still affected by what you can see and do.
Okay.
So, back at the body, I would like to... You said there was stuff on top of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So, can I reasonably assume that the body wasn't killed here?
Yes.
Okay. My question for you is, based off of, like, the injuries or the placements, do I recognize if there's any sort of, like, ritual to this? Could I do a roll to figure that out?
You could do a roll. I don't think it's interesting to see you fail on this one.
Okay.
Because this is no ritual that you recognize, if it's a
Okay.
ritual at all.
Okay.
All of the scratches and marks on the body, none of them, they seem to be randomly placed more than anything else, rather than like, oh, this was done with precision and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. Sometimes they're in pairs, sometimes they're in sets of 4, sometimes it's a single. There's puncture wounds. It looks like an animal attack almost.
Okay. That's kind of where I was going. Is there any identifying, like, marks or an ID or anything on this body that I can find?
As you go through and dig through it, you can pull out a wallet
Cool. I will do that.
that has... I know driver's licenses probably weren't a thing in the era, but there was some
a
sort of
union
ID
card or something?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Does this person have a name?
They did. The card is too worn to make it out.
Ooh. Okay. So while Kevin is inspecting the body and as Rhett walks further into the alley to convene with the spiritual realm, I think given my, kind of knowing everybody in the borough relationship network that I've built over the years, is this an alley where there are like escape ladders coming down and back doors into tenement apartments, or is this just a full-on brick, no access other than the street alleyway? Because I'd like to kind of step out and around to see if anybody's nearby, if I could speak with them to...
There's a couple
say,
of
hey,
fire
did you
escapes
see
and a
anything?
couple of doors.
Okay.
They don't look like they've been used in a very long time.
Okay.
This is...
So I'd like to... Go ahead. I'd like to step then just back out on the street and then see if there's a storefront or entryway to a tenement building or brownstone front entrance, close by to this alley, and just go knock on the door and see if I can, say, hey, did you notice any activity happening in here? Yes, I'm, working with Misters O'Neill and Gab, private investigators, into something that might have happened, and just see if I can find anybody who saw anything or might have noticed anything.
Cool.
So on that note, there is actually a grocer in one of the ground floors in the next building over.
The name of this grocer, is it a family's name? Is it a
Yep, it's
different
Dickerson.
name? Like, can we... Dickerson?
It's Dickerson's grocer.
Dickerson.
Dickerson's.
I don't even know her sons.
Oh my god.
You are on fire today, Manny.
For sure.
And the gentleman running the shop is like, yeah, no, it's there was some commotion last night, but we thought it was just rats and a couple of dogs going at it again. There was some, grumbling, crashing, a couple of sounds, but Didn't sound like nothing fancy.
Well, that's. I thank you for sharing, and I would probably then not clue in. Well, here's my question: Do I pick up on that this is the more monstery side of town that we're in? Like, is this someone of a not fully human nature, or is this just some Joe Schmo running a grocery?
This is Joe Schmo.
Okay.
There's no.
Oh. There's anything my long life has taught me.
Yeah, your intuition tells you that he's Joe Schmo. He's
Gotcha.
not on the monstrous side.
I don't want to incite fear and riots and chaos amongst mundane mortal humans if I can avoid it. So I'm not going to say that, hey, there's a headless corpse drained of blood in their alleyway.
Yeah,
Like,
if they haven't acquired that knowledge already.
Yeah, yeah. Keep that on the down low, right? So I just do the Homer fading into the hedge, back out.
It's weird that people haven't noticed this, though, right? If it happened last night,
Except
and
Billy.
there's only one guy that's... You know what I would like to do? I would like to use my power called Fey Glamour. And are there, rats or pigeons or any sort of, animal that would live in this alley? Because I want to try to talk to it.
Okay.
See what it saw.
Rats, pigeons, small animals should live in this alley.
But there's not. Okay.
You spot a couple of empty nests.
Are there decapitated bodies in there?
No.
Of, the rats?
That's
tiny
that's
little
what I
headless
expected. But
pigeons.
I'm just imagining this as someone going
Pretty bird.
yes, I'm just going to walk around and decapitate everything. Ants.
Well, I figured it's if it's a monster that eats brains or something.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
Decapitator.
Do I get a sense that there's any sort of magic kind of repelling stuff from... Because it's weird that we're in an alley and there's a dead body here and the cops are not concerned about that and no one noticed it and there aren't rats and stuff.
The grocery
just from a
business right on the street hasn't gone back there.
a world building standpoint question for you, Matt. Did it throw Gab and Rhett and Kevin? Did it sound reasonable that the cops didn't care because it was some weird monster bullshit and it's not anything we concern ourselves with, or did that ring any alarm bells of, oh, that's unusual and not right?
No, the world building bit that I was using to get away with the cops sent him your way is this guy's known for coming up with fanciful stories, and I swear I saw a vampire, I swear this thing, and the cops are like, oh yeah, you saw another body. Yeah, okay, go bother the people who will actually deal with you.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
That private investigator, air quotes, Gab, yeah, he'll help you out. Go ask that guy.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense if I get the kind of people that show up and they see me reading a novel and they're like, you're my guy.
So that's the hidden knowledge that wouldn't have been known otherwise.
Okay.
But this guy has never come to us before.
No.
Okay.
So in character, we think it's kind of weird that the cops don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know why.
Okay, cool. Okay, but we don't know why. Got it.
Do you tell us about what you saw, Rhett?
I think I do. I think what happens, because we are all in the know about each other's identities.
Yeah.
I think what you guys see is, I think Rhett, you see him kind of take a couple of deep, preparatory breaths and then walk into the alley and then just kind of stare around at walls, and it looks like I'm just looking in random corners where there is nothing there. And I think I think it looks very normal. I think there's no outward sign that I'm seeing anything. There's no weird colors or changes that come over me. And after a moment, I kind of come back over to the group And
This is
yeah.
This is one more thing for you on your seeing beyond.
Yes.
You're used to seeing kind of an average number of spirits around at any given point.
Okay.
Because they're generally dead people or dead monsters.
Yeah.
What is interesting for you is you saw the ones in that entry, the main alleyway.
Sure.
The turnoff where the body is. Judging by the general density of what you would see, you'd expect to see one or two hanging out in there.
Yeah, from nearby apartment buildings
Yep.
or businesses.
They're gone. There is nothing moving that you can see.
Huh.
In the area with the body specifically.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
You tell us that, right?
Yeah, I think I would wander over and yeah, I think I would share with the group. Yeah, gentlemen, I saw something. It's almost like people, but on all fours. And there were two of them, and they were dragging something, presumably this poor guy. And it's otherwise weirdly quiet.
Now, Rip, far be it from me to doubt your gifts and what have you, but when you do this kind of work that you do you only see spirits, or is it common for you to see echoes of the living interacting with the spirits?
It's uncommon, rare, but it's happened occasionally.
Alright, so, because I was thinking maybe the people that drug this body were also dead themselves.
Ooh.
Can you confirm or deny that?
I don't know that this ability would know that. I think if all three of them were dead, I think it would all look the same to me.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
It's like, could you tell
I'm
if
trying
they
to
were
think about that. I haven't thought about that.
If they were alive or...
I will admit on the DM side, I am taking advantage of the fact you hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
you hadn't-
What do you think it is?
I'm going to hold that one to my chest for a little bit longer.
Okay, I would say I don't know.
Ooh. Alright, so we may be looking for some either dead or undead creature that also deads or undeads other creatures. We do not have a lot to go on right now, other than the absence of information.
And I think at that point, that's when Elisha would come back around to where the group is having this discussion and catch kind of like the tail end of it.
Yeah.
And interject. Unfortunately, the grocer here next door was only able to speak of some racket that he attributed to dogs and cats and rats and other such urban vermin late at night.
But there aren't urban vermin here, as you can see.
I think the solution is very simple. Some sort of demon dog. Perhaps we should go in the
hellhound?
place where hellhounds congregate, which I believe would be... And then Gab stares into space for a minute, trying to come up with a place that you would find demon dogs.
PetSmart?
I don't think you've ever experienced a Marine camp before, so...
So, but do you in fact come up with any locations known to you where demon dogs would be?
My first guess is the sewer. My second guess is a graveyard. What do you think?
Ooh, actually, is this something that I could use my web of contacts general power to see if the people I know would have any ideas on where something like that might be?
Yeah, actually, absolutely. That would be a good one.
Okay, so I'm going to roll my isolation die, I think.
Before you
tell me.
do that,
Okay.
isolation I think would work out right as the correct peril for it. But speaking of power rolls, something I'm going to house rule for this. No, never mind. I'm not going to do that. You still have to add your portent points before you roll it.
Okay.
So, I was debating being nice and saying if you roll and fail, you can choose to add the portent points to it. But no.
You have to choose that from the beginning.
You have to choose it from the beginning.
Makes sense.
Cool. Okay, well, I think we're early on, so I will not make that roll or add to my portents yet. So I'm just going to roll it straight up with my d6. Oh boy, I'm adding a +2, so we'll see. No, I'm going to go ahead and just tap 1. I'm going to tap 1 for my grateful forgetfulness. So I'm going to take that to 1. So I'm rolling a 3 total.
So then your portion's down by 1 then?
So they start at 0.
Okay.
So now my great forgetfulness is up to 1. And that's awful, because I rolled a 1 on a die.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I strain my thoughts, and he pulls out his own little book of contacts, like his little black book, and he probably has a little red book of evil weird monster stuff, or whatever color is appropriate for that stuff. Fans through it, sits and is thoughtful and pensive looking for a moment, and the deep creases in his brow as he furrows it, and says, "Oh, I'm afraid hellhounds is been right out of my interaction here in the city over all these years. Quite odd now that I consider it for a moment."
And I just want it on the record, Matt, that I took the wallet from I still have the wallet with the ID and whatever else is in the wallet, even though I couldn't read the name, which is annoying.
The cash.
But you have it on you.
Yeah.
There was $2 still in it.
All right, I'm $2 richer.
All right.
I put that in my pocket.
And was it just the $2 and the faded ID card?
Yep.
Cool.
What kind of clothes was the body wearing, if any?
Kind of. They were the other person was actually wearing nicer clothes.
Okay.
It was still cottons and wools.
Okay.
But it was nicer cuts, finer made. Just.
And could we tell, even though that I want it said for the record that gender is a construct, but can we tell if this was a male, female body?
This was a guy.
Okay, cool. Women. Do I sense any sort of Fey influence here? Because it's weird. It's weird.
Fey influence is already. The Fey influence is around in this particular instance. You don't have any Fey sixth sense unless you want to try and roll for it. But actually, you know what?
I could.
Hold on. There is a rule in here about montages and flashbacks for temporary powers.
Oh.
That's right.
Players may create temporary powers, portents, or pacts by making a power check with a target number based on the desired result.
Interesting. I think I would like to do that.
Okay. You want to give yourself a Fey sense power?
Yeah, and I think the way that I could do this is in one of the fights I had with my fetch, I maybe got a bit of their blood or hair or something like that. So and I made a charm of something, so I had at least a little bit of a spider sense when they were around. But I think in learning to do that, I can or I kind of learned to make charms to wear, to sense if there's a Fey within so many feet of me.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. I am actually going to ask you to make a hardship roll on this.
Hardship?
Because this is
Okay.
about the item and the charm that you had.
Okay, cool. Cool. Would my Fey glamour probably not apply, huh?
I suppose you're not trying to look any different.
Yeah.
It would still technically be a power check. You did use your fake glamour as part of this. I think
Okay.
this is part of your big magic, though.
Okay, so I'll add 1 to that.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 2.
So you got a 3.
Ooh.
Oh no.
So you have made these charms before. You know that they can work. You don't currently have one of them on you.
Yeah. I figured. I almost did a portent thing. Okay, well. I'm mad about it then. He's just like kicking himself and said, fuck it, I should have always carry cedar on you. Always carry cedar.
Well, Kevin, I think I do have an idea.
I'm all ears, Mr. Gab.
A rat king.
A rat king.
A collection of rats rolled up into a ball.
I know what a rat king is, my friend.
It clearly ate this man's head and then disappeared, and that's where all the rats went.
I want to go around just like poking bricks to see if there's like a hidden door or something like that. Is there anything I can do to like find a hidden door?
You have that
Or-
key.
Portal?
Yeah,
That was going to be my next thing. I was like,
you gotta search for traps.
yeah,
And then search for invisible traps.
search for invisible traps. I could pop into Darla's and see if anyone there knows anything about something that eats heads and scares off rats.
Yeah, I'm struggling to find anything around here. Whoever did this did it very clean.
Well, not very clean at all, according to the body, but
Well, I mean, everything but the body is clean, and that's the problem.
yeah. Should we pop into Darla's and give them a call?
Sounds good to me. Let's go with that.
May I suggest before departing that we make arrangements for this poor man's body and not leave him moldering and decomposing in the gloomy light of this alleyway. If for no other reason, then you may wish to inspect his wounds one more time, and even sans blood will, we'll say, become quite.
Is there
red in
any
time.
signs of like decay or anything on the body? Like, I know it's presumably only been like a night or so, but
It's not like
rigor mortis.
decomposed.
Yeah.
It's not far enough in the process to begin decomposing.
Okay.
Right. A fine idea, Elisha. You know, your wonderful Mr. S has a fabulous car. Perhaps he might do a pickup for us.
I believe you might overestimate the services Mr. Spielhofer provides to my household.
Oh, well, I'm disappointed.
Well,
What
Might
kind
be
of
again
butler
time to
can't
call
get rid of
on-
a body?
Well, we don't need to get
you
rid
believe
of the
me
body.
to being engaged in the illicit trafficking of goods and services and other criminal activities that you may come into contact with on a regular basis, Mr. O'Neill? You may be mistaken. Perhaps we just call the city mortuary to bring this poor body away.
That's a good
The
point.
police may not be interested, but the morticians certainly.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think that's a good idea. I'm wondering if the police would be more interested if it wasn't coming from Bill Tyler. Who,
100%.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Turns out old Bill actually did see a dead body for once.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Y'all want to go to a speakeasy?
What time of
Always.
day is it?
It's gotten to mid to late afternoon for you guys at this point.
Speak easy o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Mr. Wilford. Wilford. Let's try that again. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Mr. Winfield. Got it in one.
Nailed it.
Nailed it in one.
And is Darla's a ways off? Manny, or is it pretty close by?
Oh, it is right around the corner, and I lead everyone around the corner out of eyeshot of, like, the Mondays, and I take my key out and stick it in a wall and turn it, and a door opens up.
Oh,
Do I have to roll for any of this? Like,
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Darla's the fact that it was an anywhere key.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is find a door,
Mm-hmm.
put it in the keyhole, turn it,
Yeah.
and then open it, and it's a one-time use to Darla's.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So cool.
Nice.
Problem is, you're not 100% certain where you're going to end up when you're leaving Darla's.
That's the drawback, yeah.
So Darla's is... I sort of assume that Darla's is in the same place all the time.
Yes.
We key into it, and then we walk out the front door of Darla's, and we're always
Which
in the
is
same place.
a different place.
But
Oh,
you don't
it's-
always have to key.
Sure.
You don't always have to walk out the front door of Darla's.
Oh, I see. So if you use the key to get back out of Darla's, you could pop out.
Who
anywhere.
knows?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Neat.
Yeah, so we walk into Darla's.
Through the door.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start with you. Why don't you plug this game, plug your socials? Where can we find it? Where can we find you?
Hey everybody, it's your friend Will Phillips. You can find me very creatively named on Twitter, and depending on the date you are listening to this podcast, possibly over on cohost.org. Also, as Will Phillips. Super hard to remember. You can also find everything you need for Hexingtide, my TTRPG of minimalist, monstrous role-playing, on hexingtide.com. That'll take you to my game blog, which has links to free pay-what-you-want downloads on itch.io, the Players group on Facebook, and, if I do say so myself, a very lovely curated Pinterest mood board. If you have any questions, any interests, would love to hear from you.
Amazing.
Love it. Everybody, go to hexingtide.com.
Do it.
Go to itch.io. Buy the game with real money. Support the artist.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Will. Thanks for coming on. Let's finish out our other plugs. What do we all want to plug?
I will plug the. I'm going to plug the table at Discord, as usual. Come join the Discord, interact with us. It's about the only place I'm any kind of social on the internet.
I have 2 plugs this week. One is if you like my sultry voice in your podcast receptacle holes, otherwise called your ears.
I appreciate you defining that, Manny.
Yeah.
Confused.
We're going to earn that explicit tag. I have another podcast where I GM an evil D&D campaign set in a world where the Dark Lord won, and all of the main characters are entry-level employees of an evil corporation. It is called Lesser Evil, and it should be on your podcatcher of choice, hopefully. If not, by the time this drops, then shortly thereafter, so stay tuned. We're evil_pod on all the socials. The second thing, I'm a DM for hire now, y'all.
Yay!
I get paid to DM and stuff. If you would like me to run a adventure for you, check us out at Bad Wolf Adventure Studios in Twin Cities area, and you can engage my services. That's all.
All right. You got any plugs?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Table It. You can find us at micro_RPGs on Twitter, or email us at microrpgs@gmail.com. Our theme this episode is Chill Vibrant Jazz by Danny Dory, and we'll see you all for the next episode.
Yay!
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.